Hey, Chris. Did you know that the trial is over?
Finally,
we can finally talk about something else. That's great.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday night. I believe that's Wednesday night. Yeah, it's Wednesday night. It's at
Wednesday.
this time. That means it's time for the tagline. My name is Robert Adams.
My name is Chris Adams.
We are the Cinefanatics. We are fanatics of cinema. And I mean, I'm fanatics of other things like toys and comics and stuff, but we'll get to that.
Maybe we shouldn't be.
Maybe we should. Yeah, we shouldn't be a fanatic of anything. Just you like what you like, but
guys, welcome to the channel. We're going to change the name to Cine. We're just Cine.
I don't need the bad omen that Fanatics has with it associated with it right now.
That'd be great, man. What a show.
Oh, well, that's it for tonight, y'all. Have a great evening. Bye. Anyways. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. It's like I'm already like lost for words here at the beginning of the show, and like
whatever. Don't be lost for words. That's why we have show notes.
That's why we have show notes. According to the show notes, it says greeting. Okay. Hi, everybody. It says Streamlabs. Cool. Streamlabs.com/cinefanatics. If you have any questions, comments, issues, complaints, whatever it is that your little heart desires, please let us know right there because we will see it. I have a screen open on my computer. It pops up. It says, hey, this person sent money. Say what they said with their money. And we say that thing. That's how Streamlabs works. If you want proof to see how it works with you, interactive, send in the Streamlabs. Anyways, patreon.com/cinefanatics. If you have the means to support us, if you like what we say, what we have to do, what we watch, and everything that goes on in our lives. I use 3-ply toilet paper generally. If you are like me and you like that idea and you want to support people like-minded like you, patreon.com/cinefanatics. All the Cinefanatics fun Patreon stuff right there. I don't know where I'm going with any of this, but
I don't know what toilet paper I use. I just get the cheapest one I can find that isn't the cheapest one I can find.
It was like, how are you sitting down right now?
No. Did you hear my full sentence?
I know, but like even like the cheap ones, just
the cheapest I can find that isn't the cheapest I can find.
Yeah,
which means I'm usually still buying Charmin.
Yeah. Anyways, I've actually bumped up from Charmin to Cottonelle. I find Cottonelle is much softer and delicate on my tushy. Anyways, I'm a fanatic of Cottonelle.
Usually, I would say that we should just move forward with progression in society and get a bidet, but we're in an apartment and we can't install bidets.
We can't install bidets.
What's that Hello Tushy?
Removable shower
head thing, right?
The what?
We can get that Hello Tushy thing.
I mean, you can.
They're not a sponsor. Also, don't Google search that.
Yeah, don't Google search Tushy. I mean, if you want, it's up to you.
Would y'all believe that we in the show notes wrote down toilet paper discussion?
Yeah, that's the beginning of the show, y'all. Anyways, upcoming shows, stuff that we have that is upcoming. We've started doing something new. We started this past Friday. I'm willing to bet we're going to continue it this Friday. That is a fan's view of Stranger Things over on a fan's view YouTube channel run by Vernon. We are progressing through the 4th season of Stranger Things, better known as Stranger Things 4. And we're watching the episodes week by week. So screw Netflix and their whole, like, here's all the episodes at once type of mentality. We're still going to only watch it once a week. And we're covering these episodes once a week. So this Friday will be our 2nd episode. Don't really know anything about it. Haven't watched it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Luckily for us, the conversation online is all about Obi-Wan. And not really about Stranger Things because, again, Netflix decided to release it all at once instead of a week-by-week release, which probably would have benefited Stranger Things a lot more and would have kept the conversation going a lot more. But, hey, they decided to do what they did, so we're going to do it week-by-week, and we're not getting spoiled on anything because no one's talking about Stranger Things.
I feel like this is one of those situations where, like, you sit back and you look at it from, like, over here in our position or anyone's position at home, and you're like, I feel like I would have made a smarter business decision than this. This seems like a really dumb business decision. And you're like, why am I just running a YouTube channel? I'm not like an executive at like Netflix or someplace going, guys, this was really dumb. Let's fix this. But, oh, well. Yeah. That's why I'm running a YouTube channel and not making the smart decisions for a big corporate company or whatever. Anyways, yeah, fans view Stranger Things. That will be on Friday. Roughly, it looks like it's at 7:05 Pacific, 10:05 Eastern is where they've typically been going up. So there's that. This coming, what is it? The 18th of June. Today's the first of June.
18th of June.
The 18th. This upcoming 18th of June, not the next one, but this upcoming one. We will be doing The Marquee. And this month, we are covering Pixar movies, all of the Pixar movies. We had a lot of fun with the Tom Cruise action movie Marquee. I love the Discord that happened with that. That was so much fun. Like afterwards, a lot of people were saying that like we've got most all of them like in a reasonable spot. There's a couple of movies that some people just have really strong personal feelings about. Again, we'll talk about fans and their loves of their movies. Some of them were like, you really should have this like A tier. This is definitely F tier type of situation. I just love the conversation that goes on. And again, big shout out to PJ Campbell for joining us on that one and pretty much leading the charge on all the Discord or discourse of conversation. Not the Discord. Yeah, the discourse, the discussion that's been happening online since the Marquee. So I'm expecting to see the same kind of thing with Pixar because as I've talked to my brother about this also, Pixar is one that I feel like most people have very strong personal connections and emotions with. It could be any movie. For example, I like to cook. I really like Ratatouille. My brother, not much of a cook, so he's not going to like Ratatouille as much as I would. There's personal connections in that. This is going to be really interesting to see where do we get people's opinions and emotions for these movies compared to like just the overall judgment of the quality of the movie. Yeah, that's what makes the Marquee a lot of fun. So I'm enjoying it. So yeah, that's going to be June 18th at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. I do have 2 guests lined up for that one. I'm not going to announce them yet because I want to finalize the thumbnail and everything. That will probably be next week that we'll show that off. But the 2 guests we have, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we'll probably also wait closer to when it actually happens just to make sure schedules align and don't change at any given point beforehand.
Yeah. Okay. Good call on that one also. But yeah, these 2, we're going to have fun talking Pixar with these 2. It's going to be great. Nerd, yes, this one will be timed with Lightyear. So Lightyear comes out the day before. We will be including Lightyear in the Marquee rankings. So I believe that puts it at like 25, 26 movies. It's a lot of movies to rank. We're going to be flying through that Marquee.
We spent 3.5 hours doing Tom Cruise action movies with just PJ.
Yeah, but that was a lot of really good, passionate discussion too. So I don't know if it got slow for anyone who was watching it, but I mean, when you get people that are passionate about talking about these movies, which I'm expecting Pixar to be very passionate discussions, with the exception of like maybe Cars 2 and Cars 3. We'll probably just gloss over those real quick. But
actually,
no.
Actually, one of those is better than the first Cars movie, in my opinion.
That's weird.
It's not the second one.
Cars 3, really? Interesting.
I like Cars 3 better than Cars 1, yeah.
I can't remember if I've seen Cars 3. So I'm going to have to go back and watch it again. So anyways, that is
agreement.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Garth. I love when the Mummy came up. Yeah, so we brought up the Mummy. I was like, hey, I'm going to save some time on this. I was like, F this movie. This is literally F this movie. It goes to F. And then we just continued talking about it for like another 30 minutes, like just how bad it is and just
turns laughing. Out one can be very passionate when it comes to movies they dislike as much as passionate about movies they do like.
Yeah. I mean, it's great, but yeah, this is also what I'm afraid of. Like, it's going to be really hard to put it, like, even a movie, one of the movies I already have in my head as being F tier, and it's not a bad movie, it's just not as great as the rest of them. Not like, say, The Mummy on Tom Cruise. That was a bad movie. But other than that, like the rest of the Tom Cruise movies, they were all actually like pretty decent and good. So yeah, so that's going to be coming up. Another thing I want to plug, again, those of y'all who've been watching anything that we've done here or online for the past week, you may be familiar with this already, but just in case you haven't seen it yet, if you haven't helped yourself to it, was it Friday, I believe I released it, deconstructed trailer number 2. We took the 2 Thor Love and Thunder trailers, edited them back into the order that we believe they will be playing in the movie. So we're kind of piecing together what's the actual story, the plot line of the movie, throw in some humor into it, make it shorter than 5 minutes, and the people should be running to it to watch. Well, here it is. Run to it and watch it after this. But that is available.
Yep.
Please let us know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on that, because I would like feedback so I know what direction to do when continuing these in the future. But those of you who've watched it already, thank you for watching it.
This is a good question. You gotta stick to the rules of at least 3 in F tier and D tier. So the rule on that changes depending on how many movies we're actually ranking, because we want to keep it even as possible. So I think Pixar is actually going to end up, unless we want to change it from this to keep it even, it would be 5 in S, 5 in A, and then 4 in the rest to reach the 26 movies.
Yeah, possibly. As we get closer, we might like narrow that down, because again, I don't think there's going to be that many F tier movies for Pixar.
It's going to end up being F tier by Pixar standards.
Yeah. I mean, I know of 2 off the top of my head that I'm almost certain that I'm willing to bet Streamlabs money on that are going to be F tier. But
I have a few already in my mind already too.
Do what?
I have a few in my mind too.
Yeah. So I mean, I get it, but I don't know. We'll figure that out as we get closer to it as well.
Toy Story F tier.
No, good Lord, no. We want people to like and subscribe and come back and watch other content. Not that we're doing that solely to suck up to the audience, but I mean, come on, Toy Story.
Right. Toy Story 3 F tier. Got it.
We'll talk about this. Anyways, how have you been this past week, Chris, other than your crap opinions on Pixar movies already?
Those are my real opinions. I'm okay. We started some new stuff over on the Twitch channel, so having fun over there. If you guys aren't part of the Twitch channel, you do want to jump on over and follow me over there, doing a lot of fun stuff. Would love to see all of you guys come hang out. But other than that, not much else going on not much else exciting happening in the world of Chris right now, other than life rolls on, Life rolls on.
Oblada, oblada.
Nope, that's
life goes on. Anyways, Beatles reference there. Yeah, I would say I don't think anything's really changed. There was something that I was like, yeah, I'm going to mention this during the personal bit, and I completely forgot what it was. I don't know. We were in the kitchen talking about something earlier, and I completely forgot. So great content. There is so other than doing the deconstructed trailer, which I am eager to do another one. I know, what was it, like next week, I believe, June 8th, we're going to get the first trailer for Black Adam. I may try to do a deconstructed trailer on that. Again, typically what's going to help with doing those is if I know like the source material, I know the comic books, if you watch that Thor deconstructed trailer, there's parts of it where I'm actually referencing the character based off of the comic books, like anything talking about Gore. I already knew of the character of Gore from the comics and stuff, so I'm able to kind of surmise what it would be in the movie based off of what it is in the comics. Kind of the same with like Black Adam or any like Marvel, DC. Those are going to be the easier ones to do.
So this is going to be a teaser trailer, right?
Yeah, which means it's going to be very little footage.
So Yeah, so it could depend on what they show, because I know that there was like footage that has been seen before by certain audiences, but it depends on whether or not they're utilizing that for this trailer, because you've had teaser trailers before which could just be like a flash of the logo and a quick glimpse of the character or something. If that's the case, then yeah, you can't do a deconstructed trailer about that because
there's nothing to derive from it. Yeah. So we'll see if it's good. I mean, I might have to fill in and kind of like make some shit up as I go, but I mean, that's always fun too. I'm really enjoying like the ability to make these and really flex that creative. Like, is this funny? Could this be humorous? What can I do with this to make it interesting? So yeah, looking forward to that.
Yes.
Movies watched. Anyone watch anything good over this past week? I know one thing I will say is now that we are done with the Tom Cruise marquee, I am happy to not watch a Tom Cruise movie for a minute. There's a couple others I do want to go back and watch again. Like I'm always in the mood to watch Minority Report, and I kind of want to watch Jerry Maguire again. But yeah, Chris, what have you watched over the past week?
Caught up on the last two Pixar movies I needed to see, which was the Cars 2 and Cars 3, which we previously discussed, and we'll discuss even more when it comes time to do the Pixar marquee. But that's relatively the only new movies I saw. We've got Top Gun Maverick that we saw, and we'll probably do a little bit deeper dive review on. But other than that, I'm at the point where I'm about 7 movies out from hitting 1,000 movies on Letterboxd. I am trying to figure out a way to make those 7 movies important, meaning there's a bunch of movies out there that I should have seen as a movie fan, but haven't yet. I'm currently cooking in the brain as to how I want to do some kind of content of some sort around that. If I want to do like a short form video or what have you, if we're sitting here talking to somebody, I don't know. Because I need to blast through 7 movies to get to that 1,000 before we start checking out any movies for our July marquee. So I have the list of the 7 movies that I want to watch formulated already. I will probably be putting something on Twitter at some point stating what those movies are. And everyone will be shocked and dismayed to find out that these 7 movies have not been viewed by these eyeballs during my 32 years of life prior to this moment. And I'm okay with it. Because it's going to be fun. Because I'm going to watch them.
It's kind of, isn't it kind of interesting at some point? Do you watch movies with the idea that you are collecting the experience of watching that movie? Like, of course, I got like action figures and stuff all over the place, but I also like the ability to watch a movie and then check it off like on Letterboxd. Like, I've now seen this. Here's one more movie. Another notch in my bedpost. That's the correct use of that phrase, right?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, I watch movies while laying in bed. You've seen me watch movies laying in bed before. So, I mean...
Do you have a wooden bedpost?
I do not. So that doesn't help real
hard
well.
to put notches in that.
Okay. But yeah, I kind of like I'm collecting the viewing experience of all these. So it's nice because it doesn't take up any room like the plethora of hot toys that are sitting over here on this desk that I have no other room for anything else because there's just a bunch of characters standing there. So it's a little weird. Anyways, yeah, over this past week, I think, yeah, I've also watched Top Gun Maverick. We'll talk about that some more here in a little bit. I caught up on, I wanted to watch like some random, like just B, C, D list horror movie. I watched this movie called Deathgasm. It's a New Zealand movie. It's about you remember back in like 80s, 90s, people were always, or probably even before that, people were talking about how rock music is like the devil's music type of thing. Well, this is, what if we actually found like a hard rock song that does actually summon demons, kind of like Evil Dead. That's what this was.
That sounds awful.
It was awful, but like in a good way awful. It was really cheesy, great gore effects. So
no, The Room is good awful. This sounds
awful.
Trash.
It was pretty decent. I knew if I said that while Tim Franco was here, he's gonna be like, yeah, Deathgasm rules. Yeah,
That's not surprising.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, you're talking about Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat was good. I love Trick or Treat. But yeah, Deathgasm rules. It was really good.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but that is not my style of movie.
No, it is not. And then I also caught up on some Pixar movies. I watched The Good Dinosaur and Luca. I'm actually kind of surprised. Like I tried watching Luca before and just was so disinterested in it. I sat through it and watched it this time. I actually really liked it. I thought Luca was pretty decent. Anyways, we'll talk more about that on the marquee.
It's surprising.
Yeah. I liked Luca while everyone else is pretty much.
Not everyone. A lot of people do like Luca. But everybody else in this stream, however.
We'll see. Anyways, was there anything else we want to get to movie news? Let's get to some movie news.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is what's happening in your world tonight.
We apologize for the interruption.
Back to you.
I almost have Steve Carell's thing memorized. Look away.
Like the actual sounds.
Like I've heard it so many times now.
Hey, Chris. I'm so confused. What's the #1 movie in the box office after this weekend?
Man.
We don't have a cricket sound effect or anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the movie features men. It's Top Gun Maverick.
Oh. What kind of joke was that?
It's one I came up with halfway through that silence. We're dealing with Memorial Day weekend, by the way, so keep that in mind. We're talking about Thursday preview screenings, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Seems like a really good time to release a gigantic blockbuster type movie.
It's Memorial Day also. So it's a good time to release a gigantic blockbuster movie that has anything to do with the military.
Oh, yeah.
Top Gun Maverick. Perfect release for this weekend. And we're going to get into our review, but we'll just say this thing's got some super positive word of mouth. Plus, it's a legacy sequel to I would say, beloved 80s film. I'd say it's beloved. I'd say people love it. Even if, you really think about it, it may or may not be the best movie of all time. That's fine. If it's not, it's okay. It doesn't have to be. But people love it for what it is and for the volleyball scene. So it's no surprise that we're looking at Top Gun Maverick being released at the #1 spot this weekend with a whopping $126,707,459.
How much?
$126,707,459.
And that's just domestically?
That's just domestically.
Over.
I don't expect this one to really do well worldwide. It's about U.S. military things. So
yeah,
probably not a worldwide movie, but
that's the total after a 4-day weekend.
Yes.
Friday through Monday.
Correct.
I mean, technically also, well, I don't know if that includes like the Thursday night screenings.
Typically. Yes, that would include Thursday night screenings as well.
Okay. That's really good. Do we have the worldwide numbers for that?
Let me see. Where is worldwide? There we go. I can't. Where's you know what? Actually, I take it back. Let me just click the movie itself.
Garth says
worldwide
300 million.
Yes, worldwide is 321,445,421.
That's not bad for the rest of the world to like.
That's also not just weekend. That's currently up to today as well. So
okay.
I can't get just weekend for worldwide. It seems
So I wonder how the drop off is going to be this next weekend with it, because there's no major movie being released this weekend.
Actually, hold on.
Or no, if
Nope.
there is,
Nope,
there's
nope.
nothing.
I take it back. For Memorial Day weekend, including Memorial Day, it's actually 160.5 million. Not 126. So counting Memorial Day, it's another like 40 million or so. 30 to 40 million.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so
huge.
there's not a big movie being released this weekend. So reason would state that it's going to be massively huge this weekend as well. Garth is saying domestically it did beat Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End for the Memorial Day weekend, making Top Gun Maverick the highest grossing Memorial Day weekend movie ever.
I like the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, but I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely liked Top Gun Maverick more than any of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Like the first one I really liked. The rest of them, not so much.
Hey, they're all good movies. Okay.
And
the
we'll
number
never see
two,
another one with Jack Sparrow ever again.
yikes. All right. The number 2 movie is, yes, it's Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness made another 20 million this weekend. And we are looking at the Memorial Day weekend numbers now. So the full weekend, including Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 spots, new release, Bob Burgers movie. Bob's Burgers. The Burgers of Bob. The Bob's Burgers movie at 14.8 million. I don't see that one raising any higher than that. Based on obviously the TV show. So, those who are interested in the TV show will go see the movie. But outside of that, I know that Bob's Burgers is fairly popular. It's popular enough to earn itself a movie, but I've never watched the show. So
I was gonna say, have you ever seen an episode? I've never watched Bob's Burgers, so I know it's like in the same vein. Like I guess it's a part of like Fox's like Sunday night animation or something like that with like Family Guy and Simpsons, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't watched any episodes of that.
Okay. I'm gonna call this out real quick. Garth, when we're talking about trilogy, we're talking about 3 movies, not 5. So when I refer to the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, we're talking about the trilogy, not the other 2.
Yeah. There are 5 in total. We were just referencing the 3.
The 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the 5th one's actually good. The 4th one sucks. All right, number 4 on the box office is Downton Abbey: A New Era.
I kept forgetting that there was another Downton Abbey movie that came out.
Yeah.
Also a TV show I've never watched an episode of. Apparently Happy Hogan loves it though, so
a lot of people love it. Number 5 is The Bad Guys. Number 6, Everything Everywhere All at Once. That thing dropped from 5 to 6 last weekend, and it's still staying in that 6th position this weekend. That thing has got what we in the business call legs.
It's got legs.
And the legs are standing still, and they're not going nowhere. So
I'm expecting Maverick is probably going to have really long legs too.
Give or take. I mean, you got Jurassic World this next weekend, so.
Well, here's the thing, real quick. The reason I say that is because kind of like what I've been saying ever since we saw Maverick. Like, I feel like the only proper way to watch that movie is in a theater, big screen, full surround sound. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no new movie coming out this weekend. I'm off tomorrow with not much to do. There's the project that I'm working on for Cinefanatics, but other than that, I kind of want to go watch it again. And I think you're going to have a lot of like very similar minded people that they're like, I want to go see that again on the big screen. In fact, I know a lot of people have probably already watched it 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah.
So
Everything Everywhere All at Once deserves all the legs. It's a damn spider in a good way. Do you know how hard it is to be a good spider? It's extremely.
Ayo! That's what we're going to call it. Ayo!
It sounds like a police song. Yeah.
I think you're thinking of what's it? Under Pressure by Queen.
There's that too.
Like, Under Pressure. Ayo, ayo. That's okay.
And this is where everybody clicks off the video. These guys are idiots. Okay, number 7 is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Number 8, The Lost City. Number 9 is Actually Men. And number 10 is F3 Fun and Frustration. That's a new release. What is this? Oh, okay. It's another international film. So
Is this because of the pandemic? I don't know if we talked about this, or I think I've questioned this before, but is this still because of like being in the pandemic? We're seeing a lot more like international movies hitting domestic top 10 because that wasn't happening before.
I'm not sure. It could be. It very well could be. But then the other thing to keep in mind also is because we are the complete opposite of a Morbius Stan account here, it's at number 22. So it's fallen out of the top 20.
I want to hate on Morbius some more, but I mean, given what our topic that's on our thumbnail and what we're going to talk about a little bit later, I'm like, maybe I need to start choosing my words wisely when I'm talking about Morbius.
I mean, hold on. We're talking about being a fan, right? You're not a fan of Morbius, so it's okay.
Yeah, screw that movie.
Oh God. Okay.
I can clarify like my positioning and reasoning on that here in a little bit, but yeah.
Yep. So that is your box office. That's currently where we're sitting this weekend. A lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into some other news.
Hey, guess what, guys? Everybody brace yourselves. Plug your ears. Here we go. Because I forgot to turn down the volume on that video before re-uploading it again.
I would like to point out again, we have show notes.
Shut up. We're doing Barbie Watch. Barbie Watch this
not
week.
On here.
Shut up. We're doing Barbie Watch. Barbie Watch this week. Simu Liu, who is playing one of the Kens featured in the movie, has actually committed to getting a full and entire body wax. This has been your Barbie Watch.
Anyways, yeah, okay.
Yes, that is the current news featured for Barbie.
That's fantastic.
You bet your sweet waxed plastic ass that is the current news we have rolling for Barbie.
We're going to do this like every week.
We're going to try.
Wow. Anyways, other news. This one's kind of interesting because I don't know anything about the books. But Rachel Ziegler has signed on to be in the starring role of a Hunger Games prequel. I don't know the books, so I'm not exactly sure what it's called. I think they've released the title of it, or at least they're saying it's based off they give them the title of the book that it's based off of. I don't know if this is, is this going to be like a story that's setting up the origin of the Hunger Games, like how all of Pan Am is split up between all the districts?
It depends. So it depends on where the book is. I don't know what time setting the book takes place in. I didn't, honestly, up until finding out this news story, I didn't even know there was a book for the Hunger Games, a prequel book for the Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea there that this is setting up like how Pan Am came to be, how the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Okay, that makes sense. How the Hunger Games came to be. That is actually a very fascinating sounding story to me because I did like the Hunger Games movies. Well, I liked the first two of the four. I liked the first two. I wasn't a fan of the Mockingjay movies, but the idea of how everything in society came to be that way, though, I think is a fascinating sounding story. And Rachel Ziegler is somebody who we should be watching right now because she has incredible star power behind her. I think she's going to be someone who is going to be doing a lot of really good projects in her entire career. So I'm excited for her. I'm excited to see anything from this. I think this is a pretty dope sounding idea.
Yeah. I mean, her coming off of West Side Story, she's doing Snow White. There's the whole big internet publicity of her not getting an invite to the Oscars. Yeah, she's becoming a big name. And I mean, just the only movie we've seen her in so far is West Side Story, and I think she did phenomenal at that. So, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby, it's great. Yeah. Anyways, interested to see what she does with that. But yeah, I just want to know what's the story. Hopefully, it is the formation of the Hunger Games themselves. So we're gonna do things like seemingly a little weird with this lineup tonight. Typically, like on big movies that we really want to kind of like deep dive and give like some spoilery type thoughts to, we would do that like at the end of the episode. That would be the thumbnail and everything. But there's a couple other things that have happened over this past week that I feel like deserve that more heavy spotlight rather than talking about spoilery stuff with Top Gun Maverick, which I know this is weird because Top Gun Maverick easily is like the biggest movie this year.
Nearly.
So we're going to talk about Top Gun Maverick now, and then we'll talk about this the couple of other things that have sprung up over this past week, or namely over the weekend type of situation.
Including Star Wars announcements and then talking about what it means to be a true fan. So you guys stay tuned for that stuff.
So I want to talk about like some of like the awesome good things about Top Gun Maverick. I don't know if there's really going to be like spoilers for this. I don't know if there's really anything to spoil, sort of. I mean, most everything you probably already know. So I don't know. If you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, we may lightly touch upon some spoilery stuff. I do know of one thing that I would say could be spoilery, but if you haven't seen it, if you don't mind, we're going to talk about it. Or do we want to flash up the banner?
We got a banner. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Anyways, yeah.
This is for you to mute in case you...
Also, just keep in mind, people in the chat may also type up some thoughts, feelings, opinions of stuff that might be spoilery as well. So keep an eye out, or don't keep an eye out for that. Anyways, we did like the quick 2-minute immediately out of the theater. Both of us really liked this movie. This was a phenomenal movie. I think it's like it went to the top of our best movies of 2022 so far.
Yeah, I think it's easily the number one movie I've seen this year.
Yeah, and I feel like it's gonna have some stiff competition. Like here's the thing. I'm hoping that there's a movie that would knock it out just because I want a really good movie like that again. Had this come out last year, I think it would have had some really good competition between Tick Tick Boom and Coda.
Man, that would have been tough.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously everyone who sees Top Gun Maverick loves this movie. Well, almost everyone. I've seen a couple of dissenters. Like apparently this is like some kind of like the cult of Top Gun Maverick love. But in my opinion, I think it deserves every bit of hype. This is one of those movies where you see a lot of hype about it, and the movie itself is meeting those expectations perfectly.
Which is weird because that usually never happens. Usually, like people are hyping up a movie all the time, and then you go see it, and you're like, "Well, that didn't." You get your expectations built up so much, and then you go see the movie, and you're like, "That didn't really live up to the hype." This one somehow was able to do it, and I don't understand. Because usually I like to temper my expectations when trying to go see a movie as much as possible. Now, because you never know when something's going to be a Top Gun Maverick or if it's going to be a Morbius. So you like to go in with your expectations tempered a little bit, but this is one that was almost impossible to get the expectations tempered because literally everybody who got a pre-screening or preview screening of it did absolutely nothing but go, "This is the best movie of all time. Oh my God, this is so good. This is such a great movie." So it's really almost impossible to not have your expectations bolstered a little bit going into this. I thought it was amazing, and I know there's so much to talk about here. We just started with the jet sequences and stuff themselves because that's one of the main things you go to the movie for, especially because they decided to actually put everybody in the cockpits of the planes themselves for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
Puke Fest. Puke-arama. Everybody's puking.
Puke Fest 2018 or whenever they filmed this movie.
That's
the other thing
There was an
See, I think we
article
should-
I read that it said out of all the actors that they put in there, Monica Barbaro, who played Phoenix, is the only person other than Tom Hanks that didn't puke. Everyone
Hanks?
else was just spewing all over the place. Hanks, Tom Cruise. Tom Hanks would probably also be able to hold his own without puking. I'm willing to bet. He's just as
What?
badass.
Why did your brain go Hanks?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I still have like that Pinocchio trailer on the brain type of thing. So,
Can you? I want another Top Gun movie with Tom Hanks in it.
life is like a fighter jet. You never know if you're gonna puke or not.
So anyway,
Tequila's a lot like a fighter jet.
so I loved it. It was like the sequences themselves were just so well done. There's a reason why I really actually wanted to see this on IMAX, but I'd have to go by myself because.
Oh yeah. The history on that real quick. When you were in high school?
Elementary.
Was that elementary?
I
Jeez.
think I was in 5th grade.
Jeez. So yeah, when you were elementary, y'all took a field trip to the IMAX theater, the one like actual IMAX theater we have in Austin. And what was it they were showing?
It was like a history of flight or something like that. It was showing. There was a lot of just like really big jet sequences in it. So it was obviously like jet sequences on the IMAX screen.
But this was a true IMAX. Like this was almost a 10-story tall screen type of thing.
Yeah, it's the same one. So we went to go see The Dark Knight when it came out on this screen.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw this history of flight just showing fighter jets flying around, which my first thought is like, even though you're sitting in a regular chair, like a regular ass theater chair, you're not moving, you're just seeing this gigantic sky with jets flying around. We went to go see The Dark Knight. When The Dark Knight first came out in 2008, we went to go see this on the same IMAX screen. That thing was huge. That was my first and only full IMAX movie I've ever seen. And I walked out there like, that screen was too big. Like, I have a hard time watching a movie where you have to watch a part of it like this, and then you have to look down here, and then over here and over here. Like, you are literally submersed into the movie, which that should be a selling point. That should sound awesome and phenomenal, but whoo, that screen's too big. And for what they do in like Top Gun Maverick, I was like, I don't want to see that on a big screen. Like the ones that are in between regular movie theater screens and IMAX, they're typically referred to as a LIMAX. That's what I want to see next. I think we have a couple of those in Austin, so.
It's pretty good. I mean, it's a movie that deserves to be seen on a really big screen with really great surround sound for sure. But here's the thing. The movie is more than just like the practical effects of the flying sequences and everything, which, by the way, the main mission of the movie that everyone's being trained to go do was incredibly suspenseful. I was like on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Felt like I was watching the end of A New Hope. It's like
basically, I mean,
it's the same thing.
To a degree, it's almost kind of like a trench run to it, between like some hills and stuff. But it's done more realistically, obviously, because it's not sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
What I liked about it, though, is that beyond just the effects, there's a lot of heart in the movie. A lot of heart, especially with Miles Teller's character, Rooster, who is the son of Goose. Obviously, you watch the first movie, Goose dies in the first movie. Complete and total accident that happens in that film. And obviously, Maverick feels responsible for it. And then now he has to...
even though Iceman should be feeling responsible for it, but that's beside the point.
Anyway, Maverick has to face down Goose's son, which what I love about the movie is, going into it, you're thinking Miles Teller isn't the right age. He shouldn't be in Top Gun still. He would have, based on how old he was in the first movie, the character was in the first movie, he should be completely aged out. He should be like almost 40 and completely aged out of being in the Top Gun program at all. And they have a good explanation for that. And it's that It's that Maverick was actually responsible for essentially holding him back in the Top Gun program, keeping him from being ready to actually kind of graduate and move on. And so obviously like Rooster has he's got some stuff against Maverick for that reason. And just the interaction between those two characters, not only for the fact that Maverick was like Goose's best friend, Goose was his wingman, and we're dealing with his son now, but also because Maverick was responsible for holding Rooster back. Really great interaction stuff there. I love that the third act of the movie, you have the mission they went on, but then success on that mission wasn't the end of that third act. What I really loved about that was Rooster turning around, going and grabbing Maverick, and then coming back home with him. That whole sequence was its own third act. Like the third act had its own like mini third act to it. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that I was like, that's the part where I literally had to turn my head, because like even while I'm sitting here right now, we're doing a stream and I'm feeling kind of dizzy and wobbly because of my stuff. And if you know about my stuff, you know about my stuff. Watching that movie, I was like, there's a part where they like had to free fall in the jet. Like the jet itself just had to free fall for a little bit. And I was like, nope, I cannot look at the screen right now. It's actually just like, not because it's making me afraid. I'm not afraid of what I'm seeing. It's that my brain and my eyes and my brain and everything, my equilibrium physically couldn't take it. And I was just sitting in a movie theater seat.
Yeah.
Imagine how they are like actually in the jet.
That was like when they show that in the movie, like the plane goes up and then like it basically looks like the plane just loses all like power or whatever, and it just starts coming back down. And you see the pilot, I forgot if it was like Tom Cruise who was piloting, and just like sits there and just prepares for just a free fall. And I think like everyone in the theater was like, nope. Nope. No.
I'm gonna hard pass on that one.
Yeah, just it was that was like one of the best shots to really like. However they put that shot together, I feel like it really grabbed like all of the audience, because like I say, we could feel like everyone in the theater like nope, all at the same time.
Yeah,
it's a shared experience. Welcome back to the movie theaters, y'all. Yeah, that's right. We could have shared experiences outside of a Marvel movie. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was overall it was great. I mean, there's other like people we can highlight in this movie. Obviously, Glenn Powell coming in, and what was his character's name again? What was his call sign?
Asshole.
Basically, yeah.
Bagman, Hangman, whatever.
Hangman. I think.
Hangman. Yeah, they call him Bagman, but yeah, Hangman.
He was excellent. He's also somebody that I think has like complete star power and should be leading movies here pretty quick, if not already jumping on board of leading a movie now.
Like Reed Richards.
Yeah, I personally think that he should be Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, but that's for another time, because I don't think the Fantastic Four needs to be super old. I think they can be young, and I think he could do it really well. He could portray Reed very well. A younger Reed. But that's a for another time.
Yeah,
a lot of people hold him to be Johnny Storm, which if you want to go with an older Fantastic,
I understand that too,
I guess. But anyway, the other one to highlight was Bob, because Homeboy was
awesome.
Was Pullman's kid, Louis Pullman. He's Bill Pullman's son. Didn't realize that while watching the movie. See an image of him later, totally can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Clear as day.
There was that one shot that you put up on Twitter, and I quote tweeted, I was like, dude, like we could literally do Spaceballs the prequel with him playing his father's role of Lone Star. Like I would love to see that.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun with all the other characters in the movie. I love the story. I love that they had you know what? Actually, there's one other section of this movie we need to talk about before we wrap up the review.
Yeah.
And that is Val Kilmer.
Mm-hmm.
Iceman. I love what they did with him in this movie.
I hated going back to the trailer real quick. In one of the later trailers, they actually had John Hamm going, "You were referred to come back here by Iceman, or Admiral Kaczynski, aka Iceman," and then the trailer like cuts to the picture of him on the wall, and we're like, okay, well that's our mention of Iceman. I wish they didn't do that in the trailer, but I kind of get why they did.
You wanted them to not mention him being in the movie at all?
Yeah, I wanted that to be saved for the movie. Like when you get to the movie and he says that Maverick was recommended by Iceman, I want to be the person sitting in the theater chair going, "Oh, it's Iceman! Yay!" Like I wanted to do that, but since they showed it in the trailer, I was like, "Okay, cool. Yep, we know. We saw that he's already referred. Yeah, yada yada yada. Move on." And then I thought that was all they were going to do with Iceman because, of course, Val Kilmer dealing with throat cancer, he's not in a position to really go and act in a movie, and especially in a movie like this that would have a lot of strong emotional scenes.
Yeah.
And they did it anyways.
Yeah.
That I was surprised and extremely happy about.
It was crazy because they actually included that as part of his character.
Mm-hmm.
Like the character of Iceman himself actually had throat cancer too.
Yeah.
So that was
great.
It was just a really touching moment because, you know, you see the two of them sitting in the scene together, and then when they actually like stand up to hug it out, and Iceman actually is able to share some words, like actually speak instead of typing.
Did you know that he actually did not speak? That wasn't actually Val Kilmer talking.
Oh, was it not?
No. I've just found out, I think I read about it like yesterday or whatever, that they basically ADR'd his voice later.
Interesting.
Yeah, he didn't actually talk in the movie.
So who did his voice then?
I don't know. I think that's one of those that someone recorded. I mean, obviously he was talking, and he was talking like this, very quiet. So you really couldn't hear like a full-on voice anyways.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to bet because of the situation, the way that's set up, I'm looking at if that was me, I wouldn't want to be credited as Iceman's voice. I think that was someone recorded it, and they just let it go. No one's actually being credited as doing that voiceover. That's why we didn't know right off the bat that
no one's even really like claiming to take an uncredited spot on it. Interesting. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. So I just think that was a really touching scene. The thing is, the movie did a really good job at doing nostalgia from the first movie without beating your head over with it. That touched like really good moments, but it didn't do the this was in the first movie.
Yeah. It didn't do was it member berries?
Yeah, it played
Remember
some
this?
of the same.
Remember that?
Obviously, you know, you get some of the same music.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like the closest you get is, well, okay, so you get, instead of the volleyball scene, you got a beach football scene, but they actually utilize that as a team building exercise rather than
There's a bunch of shirtless dudes playing volleyball.
Yeah, rather than it just being, hey, they're just doing a thing. That's actually like a team building thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was like the flyby at the end, which was just a fun little, oh, hey, he just did a flyby. It wasn't like I'm requesting a flyby. So it was actually just he just did it. Just did it because he needed to do it, because that's how he had to land the plane.
Yeah, they actually gave a reason for him needing to do a flyby, which that was interesting. The one that I think that stuck with me right off the bat was the entire opening sequence. Also set to the Top Gun theme. It's showing the top of that aircraft carrier that they're on, prepping and getting these jets ready to fly out, just like they did in the first movie. So they used the almost, I don't even know if it was the same exact shots or if they just refilmed like the same kind of shots or whatever, but essentially it was all the same thing. It's just showing people prepping on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier. And I love that. I thought that was great. So
yeah,
There was Jennifer Connelly's character in this, Penny. I'm not exactly sure who she is. Like, the movie kind of treated her like she was a character already.
She was.
I don't remember her in the first one.
She's a passing mention in the first movie. So when what role was it? The guy who sent Maverick and Goose to Top Gun. I forget what rank he was in regards to them. He was like
just an admiral of some sort.
An admiral?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when
you're talking about the guy who was the principal in Back to the Future.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He has there's a passing mention that he does of her. And it is he's talking to Tom Cruise about he's talking to Maverick about things that he's done. He's like this, that, and the other, and Admiral's daughter, or something like that. And then Goose leans over and goes, Penny Benjamin, or whatever her name was. Is that Penny Benjamin?
She was his daughter?
Not his daughter. She was another admiral's daughter.
Okay.
He's just like, Penny Benjamin, and he's like, I thought you guys were done or whatever. And Maverick was like, kind of just like shrugged it up, kind of like a shrugging off thing, indicating that this is a character that is in and out of Maverick's life at any given point.
Interesting.
So she is a character that was previously established in Top Gun as a passing mention, but not a character that was seen on screen, which is actually kind of cool. I think that was kind of neat.
That kind of reminds me of Rocky Balboa, when he almost is kind of starting a relationship of sorts with that girl that said like "screw you, sleazeball" or whatever in the very first Rocky movie. Mm-hmm. She's just a very passing character in the first Rocky movie, and now she's like one of the main characters of a later Rocky movie. Sounds like kind of like that kind of a situation.
Yep.
Little Marie. Yeah, what else was there about this movie? Like, I like the fact that, like, even if you don't know jets, you don't know fighter jets or anything, this movie was still easy to follow. Okay. Like, you have to have like some bare basic knowledge of like flying. Like you have to understand, like, when they say Mach 8, Mach 9, Mach 10 or whatever, you understand what that means.
Just gotta know they're going fast.
They're just going really, really fast. I did like the opening where he's testing this like stealth fighter jet. That was like right off the bat, that was suspenseful as hell. Just on that one. I love how it ends with him walking into this like random restaurant, because the second I saw him do that, my first thought, I think I even said it out loud while we were sitting there in the chair, I was like, he's going to ask, where am I? And that's exactly what his first thing was. And then I like the little kid turns around and goes, Earth. It's the same joke that they used in Eraser when Arnold Schwarzenegger's character falls out of an airplane with the parachute and crashes in a junkyard. And he looks over and sees kids standing there. He's like, where am I? And they're like, Earth, welcome. So I love that joke. It's always a good classic go-to joke for that.
Was it like in Avengers also when Hulk fell from the sky? Son, I think you got a condition.
Yeah. Are you an alien? No. Well, then you've got a condition. Yeah.
Yeah, no. The movie was great. It's definitely worth seeing. Obviously, we've been doing a spoiler review, so y'all been sticking around and hearing spoilers. But I will say that if for some reason that you don't care about spoilers and you haven't seen the movie, highly recommend to go see.
Yeah, this movie, it definitely, like, all the action stuff, the big final battle. Did you happen to notice they never actually say who the enemy is?
Yeah, they don't say like what country is controlling the thing that they have to blow
up. Yeah. Like we get like the jets that they're using are more advanced fighter jets that are like Russian made, but they don't explicitly have like any kind of Russian military decals on it.
I'm wondering if like it was Russian and they just cut out any mention of it just because.
Well, so that was the same in the first movie also. They didn't explicitly say who the villains were. They did refer to the jets that they were in dogfights with at the end. They did refer to them as them being like Russian MiG jets. but they didn't explicitly say that they were Russians. So I believe they're doing this on purpose to avoid like any country at all. Because here's the thing: like if you sit there and you say, forgetting the current conflict with Russia right now, if you were to say that these are Russians, that would make your movie kind of suck in Russia. No one in Russia wants to go and watch this.
It would be propaganda.
Yeah. Or, I mean, the same with any other like major like superpower country, China. If they were to say that those were Chinese forces, that movie would be immediately banned in China because they ban American movies for less than that. So I guarantee you they would have banned it.
Yeah.
So by leaving the villains ambiguous, it leaves it for you to formulate whoever you think it is. I kind of like that because it feels a little weird that we're not saying who they are, but at the same time, it feels fairly believable.
The focus also isn't on another country being villains as much as the buildup of it all is the suspense of being in the situation to begin with.
These students pull it off.
The villain that these characters have to overcome is themselves being in that situation and being able to handle the mission. So
yeah, it was interesting. I'm trying to think, was there anything else about Top Gun that I wanted to really talk about?
I would just like to say that Jennifer Connelly,
yeah,
always has, always will. Jennifer Connelly.
Anyway. And you know what? It's today's June 1st. It's the start of Pride Month. I would like to say everybody just in that movie.
Honestly,
just everybody.
Everybody was at the top of their game in that movie. Let's be honest. That's a movie full of hot people.
It was
a movie full of hot people being hot.
Happy Pride
Dudes
Month,
and dudettes alike.
Anyways. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for like anything else we really need to talk about Maverick. I want to go watch this movie again. I may go watch it again tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, highly recommend watch it in a theater if you have the ability. Again, as I said like multiple times online in our first review, I don't know how well this movie's gonna play watching it at home. Like even like the main computer that I use here is a 27-inch screen. I'm sitting like 2.5 feet from it, maybe generally. I don't know if I'm going to get the same kind of feeling that I got off of watching it in a movie theater.
I think we will.
I mean, I'll enjoy it. It's still a good movie, but I'm just not going to get that full immersion like you get in a movie theater. And I think that's what really helped this movie be as good as it was.
Yeah, I think the movie still comes with a solid rush to it, so I think that it'll still translate pretty well.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, so let's move on to our next segment where I'm probably not going to say very much at all, and Chris is going to handle all this. Go ahead, Chris.
We're going to run through a little bit. Let's highlight so let's start off. Last week we talked about our predictions for Star Wars Celebration. What were they going to show? Obviously, this week we got to talk about what did they show. And they showed some things. They talked about some things. And it's some stuff that if you're a Star Wars fan, there's a lot to be particularly interested in. Trailers abound. Even footage that we at home did not get to see. Suck. I really wanted to see some of the stuff, but, in due time.
I want to clarify real quick. The reason I'm not talking about it is because I haven't followed up on a lot of the Star Wars stuff that has come out lately. Like everything outside of the main movies. I've followed Mandalorian. I've watched Book of Boba Fett. I'm watching Obi-Wan now. But anything else like the Clone Wars cartoon, I'm not caught up on. Rebels, I'm not caught up on. I didn't watch Bad Batch. So I don't know of this area that well as he does. So.
You're going to need to catch up on all that here pretty soon. It's going to, especially when it comes to one of these shows. With one of these shows, for sure, you're going to need to catch up on literally everything.
Yeah, Ahsoka.
Or you're going to skip it. Yeah, Ahsoka. Yeah. So let me roll down the list of what we got here. Besides besides the fact that there is a movie confirmed that Taika Waititi is directing. We've already gotten the old school 80s Star Wars logo looking thing from that before.
The psychedelic whatever art.
Yeah, it is confirmed. That I believe is going to be the next movie out of the gate for Star Wars. So that is the next movie we look forward to, whatever it is going to be entitled and whatever it is going to be about. That is the next movie out of the gate. Which I don't know if they put an actual year date on that. I can't remember, but it's probably within the next couple of years. And I don't know if they're planning on it being like a trilogy or if it just being a standalone on its own. But no news either on Rogue Squadron, I believe. I would still like to see that movie. I'd still like to see it directed by Patty Jenkins. So we'll see what happens there. Top Gun in space. Where's that at? I'm ready for it.
I mean, Tom Cruise wants to do a space movie also, so that's probably
Put
a
him
good
in
one.
Rogue Squadron. Still working on the script for it, but it's on the back burner. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm looking forward to that one still. But going through the list here, though, the rest of this is primarily TV, and obviously, our name here is Cine Fanatics. We talk about movies. We've covered TV shows and stuff before on this channel. Obviously, we've done, covered topics of TV shows, mostly Marvel shows and stuff, while doing this show. We've done them all as their own live streams. But all these shows are so damn cinematic at this point that we might as well mention it, especially because the Star Wars universe started as movies. And look, these are all basically TV show formatted movies at this point. So we got our trailer. We got our first trailer for Andor. Our first real trailer, I should say, for Andor. The Cassian Andor spinoff, which, if you watched Rogue One, you know who Cassian Andor is.
I did watch Rogue One. I do know who Andor is.
There you go. This is supposed to be, I think they said it's supposed to be a 2-season show in which the end of the second season will wrap up pretty much right where Rogue One starts off with Cassian Andor. So it'll literally lead right into, if you want to know the time period, it leads right into Rogue One, and we know Rogue One leads right into A New Hope. So this is basically where this show is going to be taking place at. Very firmly located in the timeline. A lot of really interesting stuff in that trailer. We're seeing a lot of, the obviously the beginnings of the Rebel Alliance and what they're doing and trying to hide from the Empire. Really cool stuff with Stellan Skarsgård's apparently going to be in this movie. So Dr. Selvig from Thor is going to be around. So a lot of fun stuff. We know Genevieve O'Reilly is replaying. Coming back to play Mon Mothma, the younger Mon Mothma again, which she's always been such a fantastic cast for young Mon Mothma. I'm excited to see even more from her. I think there's a lot there. It's going to be fascinating, though, especially as we dive more and more into the early parts of the Rebel Alliance. Other thing they showed, Mandalorian 3, the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer was not shown online, but they did show footage at Star Wars Celebration. They did give us information, as Garth mentioned here. Hey! Our good old buddy Babu Frick is going to be in Mandalorian Season 3, which means we get a little bit of Grogu and Babu Frick interaction.
Oh, yeah.
And if the internet isn't already broken because of that, it should have been, because that is so much adorable in one scene, and I don't know how we're all going to handle it.
Just need to throw in Baby Groot.
Baby Groot can go Baby Groot himself. We're talking about Grogu and
don't use that kind of language on this. I mean, I know we've decided to start saying more curse words, but you don't have to use that.
I am Groot.
Jeez, man. We're about to talk about racist fans here in a little bit, and you're going to spout that off already? Jeez.
Do me a favor and shut up for the rest of this segment.
Look, you fanatic.
Look, there's some great stuff happening in The Mandalorian season 3. They've teased it. They've talked about it. Bo-Katan is back, and they said there's some surprises. She's obviously not in a good mental headspace after what happened in season 2 of Mandalorian. So we are expecting some really good, probably confrontation between Din and Bo-Katan. I'm excited. We're not getting this dang thing until February next year, and I'm pissed. I wanted it this year. I'm so much so that I'm going to be a fanatic. No, I'm just kidding. Moving on, we got kind of one of the big ones for me. This is probably the biggest one for me is the Ahsoka stuff. Obviously, Rosario Dawson coming back as Ahsoka Tano again, but they brought out officially on stage Natasha Liu Bordizio as Sabine Wren, live action Sabine, and she's going to do a banging job as Sabine. She looks like Sabine, and she's also done roles. If you actually look her up, like Google search her, or know her from any of her prior work, she's done roles where she's had short, multicolored hair, and in those roles she looked exactly like Sabine. If you know Sabine, Sabine goes through the short hair, doing different kind of hairstyle, colors, all kinds of stuff.
So like Scott Pilgrim, Ramona
almost, kind of. So she looks almost exactly, if not exactly, like Sabine. I think she's a fantastic cast, and I absolutely cannot wait to see the footage of her as Sabine. They showed online, you'll see like an image of Sabine looking at a mural that she painted featuring the Ghost crew, the Rebels crew from the cartoon. And they recreated that from, I believe, was it the last scene in Rebels, where Sabine then goes off with Ahsoka to go find Ezra, because Ezra's lost in space somewhere with Thrawn. So that seems to also be the entire premise for the show too, is that they're going to go look for Ezra and essentially Thrawn, which is great. But I loved the recreation of that last scene in Rebels in live action. I think that's going to be incredible to see. But that does lead to the fact that Sabine is officially in this show. Hera Syndulla is officially in this show, which is awesome as well. She and Kanan, who we remember last time we saw Kanan outside of Rebels was as the young Padawan at the beginning of Bad Batch. So Kanan his presence will probably still be felt, as Hera also had his child too. So there will be probably a young Kanan Hera offspring that might pop up in the show. And obviously, if they're going to go search for Ezra, we know Ezra's in the show as well. We already know that Thrawn's going to appear in the show too. So we've got pretty much an entire live action Rebels coming in, outside of Zeb and obviously Kanan, which we know what happened to Kanan in the show. So we probably won't see him outside of maybe like a Force Ghost or something. Who knows? They might find a way. Maybe they get Freddie Prinze Jr. to come in and do the live action version of him. That'd be a lot of fun. But outside of those, I mean, we got pretty much the entire Rebels crew, even down to Chopper, the little R2, what's R2's droid unit actually called? It's not a protocol. Astromech, yeah. C-3PO is a protocol droid. He's a little astromech. He's an astromech with some sass and attitude, and they brought him physically out on stage during Celebration, and it was dope.
He's a sassy assy.
Yeah, he's a sassy assy. If you've seen Rebels though, you know Chopper's a little miscreant. I can't wait to see him in live action too. I know that he was briefly, I think, in the background in Rogue One. I have to go back and see that again. I can't remember where he was, but it'll be cool to see Chopper again. Other things they showed off and announced: Tales of the Jedi shorts. Each episode of this show is going to be its own story about one of the Jedi from the prequel era, including a story about Ahsoka as she was a baby. So we're going to find out and learn about Ahsoka's family prior to her being picked up by the Jedi, by being founded. As we know, she was founded by Plo Koon, in the Jedi.
I
So
want to know more about Plo Koon, namely where he got that name from.
we might actually get. I would expect to see Plo Koon, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Kit Fisto. I expect to see
Fisto's
something from
another one
them.
whose name just
I always mess up her name. Undula. That Jedi.
Leia
Adi,
Sakura, Yaddle.
Sakura, Galia. Like honestly, any of these.
Did we go to Celebration? No.
I just paid attention. To what was going on at Celebration. So it'll be fun. But we do also know that we have an episode featuring Qui-Gon as a young Padawan learner to Count Dooku. And it features both the voice talents of Liam Neeson as well as Liam Neeson's son is voicing younger Qui-Gon. So that's really cool too.
Yeah.
This will be a fun one to watch. They're not all going to be like interconnected like an actual like normal animated series, but for each one being its own like window into each of these Jedi's lives before the prequels, I'm down. That's actually really exciting. So they show.
So let's work on our passports real quick.
Yeah, everybody sign up for our Patreon so we can go to London next year.
Garth, it's Kit Fisto, not Kid Fisto. Don't Google Kid Fisto, please.
No. We do not encourage that kind of Googling. They also showed the Bad Batch season 2 trailer, which lot more Bad Batch action. Looks great. You saw season 1, great show, doing a lot of cool things with the Bad Batch crew.
Bad Batch 2, even batchier.
Badder and batchier. Bad
too
batches.
Bad, too bad, too batch.
Just a bunch of bad batches over here. What I'm really excited about this, if you guys know, my favorite lightsaber, and yes, we're going that nerdy. My favorite lightsaber is the lightsaber that belongs to the Jedi youngling Gunji. It's a nice little wooden hilt. It looks very natural and sleek. It's a nice combination of both the sleek, modern, futuristic style of lightsaber hilts with a natural nature look. Wood. Gunji is still alive, apparently. Gunji did not get Order 66'd.
Well, that's a verb.
Gunji did not get Order 66'd? Yeah. Which means Gunji, if you don't know who Gunji is like one of the only like really widely known canon Wookiee Jedis. So that's actually really exciting. And then him coming back and still being alive means maybe we might get to see his lightsaber show up in Galaxy's Edge, in the lightsaber shop where you can make your own lightsabers. And then next time we're able to find our way to Galaxy's Edge, I can get a Gunji lightsaber. That's honestly all I really wanted to highlight with Bad Batch season 2 trailer, is that Gunji's still alive, and I'm excited about that because I might be able to get his lightsaber at some point, because I'm a nerd. And then the only other thing I really wanted to mention here before we move on off of all the stuff that they showed at Celebration, besides obviously, they talked about Obi-Wan, they showed off the first 2 episodes, but we've all seen Obi-Wan now. We don't need to talk about that. Show's good. Loving it so far. Really great.
Today's episode was phenomenal.
Absolutely. But the only other thing that they really talked about that needs to be highlighted here is the skeleton crew. That is John Watts directing, or it's a John Watts pitched and probably directed series. It's going to be live action. Apparently it's about 4 kids who get lost in the Star Wars universe. It's not made for kids, but I believe it's going to be a live action. It sounds like it's going to be a live action show that takes place within the Star Wars universe involving characters that we've never met. So I think there's a lot to be hyped up for and excited about there, because that may mean we get to see corners of Star Wars that we have yet to see. And I think that's always fun for universe expansion. So also means that John Watts is not necessarily resting as much as he probably needs to.
It's probably a little bit easier doing the TV series than it is like a big, like special effects heavy. I mean, again, he was going to be directing the MCU Fantastic Four, which was going to be very special effects heavy. So yeah, it may be a lot less that kind of work. I mean, I'm still expecting special effects, but
yep. But yeah, instead of doing Fantastic Four, it looks like Disney has they're repurposing him to Star Wars TV, which is A-okay in my book. He's a fantastic director. He's done well with the Spider-Man movies. And that means that they're probably got a really good ideas who they want to direct Fantastic Four. And it's all been probably in the works for this entire time. And we're just all getting to find out all about it now. So John Krasinski.
probably. Anyways, that's it for the Star Wars talk.
Yeah, Garth is basically going to be Star Wars Stand By Me, pretty much.
Yeah. So yeah, as we were saying, they did premiere Obi-Wan, like the first 2 episodes at Celebration. We've gotten the 3rd episode that came out today. So far, this show is doing fantastic. I'm loving this Obi-Wan series. The episode that came out today, just there's a small bit of it that I was like, about. I'm not going to go into real spoilers on it since it just came out today. There's a chance that people watching us right now have not seen it yet, so I'm not going to spoil it. But it just seems a little weird. But I like the direction that they're going with this. One thing I do want to touch upon that I like about Obi-Wan so far is that they're doing stuff based off of things that we didn't realize that they could do. For example, there's a lot of interaction between Obi-Wan and Princess Leia in this show. Had no idea that it was possible that they could do that while seemingly still sticking to the canon of what's already come out, like with A New Hope.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love that. Like, I didn't even think that would be a possibility in the trailers. They didn't show that was going to be a part of this show. So I love that they're able to explore that and completely took everyone by surprise with that. And it's really good. I'm enjoying it. What I don't enjoy is the reactions online. The takes on this have not been what I would call up to, and I'm going to use some harsh terms in this just to seriously drive a point. Some of the reactions to this are not up to what I would call human standards. A lot of like subhuman opinions on some of this stuff that desperately needs to be fixed. And that's not just with Obi-Wan. This is a lot of stuff like this has been stuff that's been happening over the course of at least the past couple of years. It's been more and more mainstay on the internet, on Twitter, on social media. And I hate, like, I didn't want to really necessarily talk about this kind of stuff on here, just because there's enough negativity in the world. We don't need any more, but I just really want to urge, like, people just be mindful of what you see, what you hear, what you respond to. I know a lot of this obviously is going to be like trolls that are just trying to elicit some kind of reaction just to play with other people. As Alfred adequately said in The Dark Knight, some people just want to watch the world burn. There's stuff like that that's happening. Garth was pointing out in the chat. Yeah, I think like with Star Wars, a lot of this I've seen, namely started with Rose back in The Last Jedi. And The Last Jedi itself had like a whole bunch of takes.
It started way before Rose, but yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to bet I was alive. I just wasn't old enough to be paying attention. I don't know like what the culture was around when they showed Lando in Empire Strikes Back. If there was like a lot of hate or like racism towards having a black man play a character, especially a character of his position in the Star Wars movies. If people were just up in arms about that. Of course, we didn't have the internet for people to voice their opinions. Thank God.
Ahmed Best really caught a lot of flack, not just because he was playing the annoying character of Jar Jar, but because he just caught the heat back in the prequel times. So,
I remember, like, were they saying that like that was like Jar Jar was like a cultural appropriation type of character. Like his voice was very like Jamaican-ish sounding kind of thing, and I'm wondering if that's where that came from.
Part of it was just like people just don't know how to direct their anger or upset, or even if they shouldn't have anger and upset, they directed a lot of their anger and their upset towards him. But to be fair, they also put a whole lot of anger and upset towards Jake Lloyd, and just his life got turned upside down for the worst after episode 1. So, I mean, even still, you look at, and this is kind of like a slight offshoot of this whole topic, because I think this all kind of still fits in, especially in regard to where we're at now. But you talk to Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen about, did they feel the love back during Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith? No, not necessarily, but they are seeing that as a whole, Star Wars, the true Star Wars fans that love Star Wars and everything that Star Wars does, have completely warmed up to them and said, like, no, you guys, we love you guys. We appreciate so much what you guys did with the characters back then during the prequels. And just to see them be able to feel the love now and just feel the appreciation now, I think is huge. But it just goes to show that it's been a cycle. It's been a cycle for quite some time, that certain actors, for whatever reason, whether it's because of how they portray a character or because of some cases, like we're seeing, how they look, they just catch a lot of heat from a lot of toxic, and we're literally using the term toxic, a lot of the toxic fandom that is part of the greater fandom as a whole.
Well, I want to cover the one that's like the big one that's playing right now, and that is this Obi-Wan show that's out. We have Moses Ingram, who is playing Reva, the third sister, a part of the Inquisitors. We're seeing a lot. Like, first of all, I absolutely love her in this show so far. She's mysterious. I don't know like what her real connections are. She seems like she may have like some ulterior motive. This newest episode just looks like she's trying to suck up to Lord Vader. I mean, so I love what she's doing with this show, but we've gotten like for some weird ass reason, we've got a wave of people that are just flat out like racist about her. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, why can't we have a black woman in Star Wars? Why can't she? What is wrong with this? And it's kind of a rhetorical question, because I don't think there's actually a real logical answer. And here's where I'm going to say something very harsh again, but I think most everyone's going to agree. You're not logical if you're racist. A racist person, being racist is quite possibly one of the dumbest things a human being can be. Disregarding complete groups of people because of their skin color, their culture, stuff like that, just has no business being in existence. The fact that we're in 2022 and we still have to deal with racism. Granted, yeah, I this might sound hollow. I know I'm white. I'm a white male. I get that, but I'm also a person that, like, I can't stand seeing the stupidity of the entire human race, and this is one of the dumbest things I think people that we do as a people, is having an opinion against other people based off of skin color, culture, backgrounds. None of this should exist. This is fucking stupid that this is something that we still have to see and deal with in society today. I can't stand it. I can't tolerate it. I hate seeing it. Woo! I'm super passionate against all of that. I don't get it. I don't know why this exists for this show, and why specifically this one character. Moses Ingram has been doing a fantastic job in this role, and I cannot wait to see what they do with her character.
There's a lot of people that are currently also, they're weaponizing their hate, hiding behind the excuse of, well, we're criticizing the character, the way the character is written, the way the character is portrayed. We're not criticizing her, but it's like, But what about her character is needing to be criticized? I look at the character. I've seen moments in the first 2 episodes where I was like, she's making some really large and bold acting choices for her character. A lot of, in your face. She's being loud and in your face and aggressive. And I think that rubs some people wrong, but I think what's happening is that they're attributing those choices that she's making for the character to her race. And I think that is something that is incorrect and should be incredibly frowned upon, because her acting choices, I think, fit squarely within Star Wars. They caught me off guard at first, but at the same time, I'm looking at characters in Star Wars. I'm like, there's been bold acting choices made by almost any character at any given point within Star Wars. Namely, let's look at Emperor Palpatine during Revenge of the Sith. Some really interesting choices made by Ian McDiarmid during that role in Revenge of the Sith, where he's making some weird faces, saying some weird lines, and saying them in a weird tone. Doesn't necessarily fit or feel realistic or feel like something that someone in those situations might actually say or do.
Granted, if he wasn't an old white British guy, maybe he wouldn't have acted this way. Like, no one says that.
The entire thing's fantasy, so you have to take the realism out of it. This is the same kind of situation where I think she's made choices in her character, which I think fit her character, and I think they fit Star Wars. But for some reason, everyone's using that as an excuse to hate on her character, which I think is absolutely dumb, because they feel justified and emboldened to do so. The underlying reason being because she's a black woman. And a lot of people don't want to admit that. A lot of people don't want to admit that that's the reason why they are immediately drawn to disliking her character choices. But that is the reason why.
If that's your go-to for reasoning, seek help. There's something wrong with you. You actually do have an issue that you need solved and figured out. Kudos to not only the Star Wars, the official Star Wars Twitter account, but also to Ewan McGregor himself, both of them putting out statements and videos saying absolutely against racism. Just
even Kumail put out a statement saying like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah. Like I absolutely love the fact that this is something that I feel like we live, like, especially here in America, we do have the freedom of speech. You have the right to hate or like whatever you want to hate or like. You don't like people of a certain skin color or background, whatever. Cool. You can hate them all you want. We also have a right to not like you. So I love the fact that typically you would see like a lot of corporations, even though generally I feel like we can all agree racism is bad. Typically corporations or big businesses and stuff would not make a hardline statement about that. Again, looking back real quick to what was happening in Florida with this "Don't Say Gay" bill, and that is it Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney right now? He took his sweet time kind of like having a response to that. Again, it's a big, huge business. They don't have the ability to speak on behalf of like just one person. If Bob Chapek says an opinion about something, people will read that as Disney says that about it. If he says he hates pepperoni pizza Hot Pockets, that means Disney doesn't like pepperoni pizza Hot Pockets for something like that. So therefore he has to be careful with his wording. The flip side to that, the backlash, is he didn't respond fast enough, which shows complacency in that. Because you didn't respond, we must think that you're kind of okay agreeing with this.
The flip side is how quickly Star Wars responded here. Yeah.
Immediately, Star Wars, the actors involved, they all took to social media and just flat out said, no, if you're a racist person, you don't deserve to be a fan of this galaxy. Please get out.
Yeah,
Stop
we have no
being a
room for that
fan.
here.
Yeah. And even though, granted, we're not a huge YouTube channel, I would say the same exact thing for this YouTube channel. Before anyone has any kind of form of comment or commentary of us, if you are a racist person, get the fuck off my channel. You don't deserve to watch us.
Basically. The other thing that was in there too was that Billy Lord and Kelly Marie Tran were doing something. They're doing I can't remember specifically what it is, but they're specifically doing something. And I saw this on Twitter. Someone responded with, "They're literally the worst parts of Star Wars, or nobody cares about them," or something like that. So, oh yeah, no, it was respectfully, nobody cares about them. And then Star Wars immediately responded, respectfully, L plus ratio, which if you are aware of how Twitter culture works, a ratio is where you essentially are responding to somebody in an attempt to get more likes for your statement than they got for their stupid statement. So basically what that was giving is Star Wars said, you're taking an L, you're taking a loss here because you're dumb, and we're going to ratio you as in everyone's going to like what we post and not like what your dumbass just posted. This is essentially what they did, and
that worked.
They succeeded. That's when I retweeted that. I was like, a Star Wars story in two tales, #aggressive negotiations. It was, yeah. We're talking about fandom here. We're talking about people who consider themselves fans. We obviously know that there are people out there who consider themselves fans of a product, but then act in such a manner as to show that they are not. I love Star Wars. I love everything about Star Wars. I enjoy Star Wars. I dislike Solo as a movie. Not for any other reason other than I just think it wasn't written well. That's it.
But you can voice that opinion and be perfectly fine. You are allowed to not like stuff.
Yeah, I think Solo actually would have worked a lot better as a TV series. Do like Obi-Wan's doing. Do a 6-part TV series for Solo. Tell his backstory. Perfectly fine. I think that would have actually worked a whole lot better. In fact, I'd be down for a sequel series to the movie. I think that would work very well. But other than that, I love Star Wars. Star Wars is great. I pretty much love absolutely everything that they choose to do with Star Wars. If maybe I don't like certain things at the start, these things tend to grow on me over time as I learn to appreciate them and accept them as canon to the actual story. If you're out here disliking someone's performance, and I think I'll say this, people who authentically, for some reason, dislike her performance, they are just authentically not a fan of the character. One, they're going to turn around and say something like, but we still are glad to have Moses Ingram as a part of the universe. I'm not particularly a fan of her character or the characterization, but I'm glad she's here and I'm glad they're trying new things with these characters. I think that's perfectly fine. But
I'm not a fan of what Tom Hanks seems to be doing in this Elvis movie. He sounds and looks terrible, but
weird accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if you're turning around and you're saying like, hey, I don't like what they're doing with this character. Why do we have to be so woke and have her character in on this?
What is woke about that?
Do you know what the definition of woke is now?
Yeah, I get it, but I don't see any wokeness, I guess, in that in her character.
Yeah. I think that's the wokeness is that it's a diversity hire. That's what everyone's jumping on board. Hey, we have to have a main character who isn't white because we're forcing non-white stuff, we're forcing not man, not white down everyone's throats, and we just need to stop doing that. We just need to hire the people who are right for the roles and all that, and stop hiring people who are no.
She was the one who was right for the role. They hired her.
Yeah, she's the one that's right for the role. What they want to do with the role, the character they want, she was the right one. And I think it's people who are just like they're as Nerd brought up here. It's people's unconscious bias that is showing forth. And there's a lot of like key phrases and stuff that you can tune into to hear it. And woke is one of those words. If someone uses the word woke, they're typically meaning, oh, we don't like diversity. It's essentially what they're saying. We don't like diversity.
Garth, I know what woke means. I'm trying to explain it by other means. Yeah. I get what they're referencing on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit more overt bias and unconscious. Yeah, and that's one of the things where, you know, you have people who have unconscious bias who, you know, they're the people who might need to realize or don't necessarily realize that they are being racist. They are showing
the show needs more Lola.
Yeah. They are showing bias against certain people groups. They don't realize they're doing that. Those are people who can learn, may learn, hopefully will learn and accept what they need to learn. But then you have like using the term woke is usually a clear sign of someone who is, they're just obviously, they're not going to be reasoned with, essentially.
They can't be reasoned with or bartered with.
Yeah, like this. Why do we have to have a She-Hulk? They're being woke. Because there's a She-Hulk in the comics.
There's a She-Hulk character.
You're seeing a lot of that right now, obviously, with the MCU. You see a lot of stupid people out there calling it the MCU because there's a lot of female characters being promoted front and center right now, which, cool. Those characters exist in comics. I want to see them on the screen.
Well, that's fine. If you go back and you look at phase 1 and 2, phase 1 and 2 of the MCU, there were no female-led movies. Those were all like Iron Man, dude. Incredible Hulk, dude. Thor, dude. Captain America, dude. These are all like dude-led movies. The female characters of the MCU were side characters. So, yeah, like let's celebrate the women of the MCU of Star Wars and whatnot. Like,
we didn't even get a Black Widow movie until last year. Granted, it's supposed to come out a little bit earlier, but pandemic aside.
Granted, I understand, and I've said this in so many terms before. I understand, like the was it Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame. Both of them contained scenes like on the battlefield where all the women just so happen to be all together during a fight scene. I get it; it's cool. It's not plausible in a real.
That's one of those situations where it's like, yeah, I don't have a problem with this scene existing. It just seems like it was kind of thrown in there.
Yeah, that I can understand and get, but like you're talking more about the realistic nature of what would actually happen on the battlefield or even in the writing of a movie, just a natural, like, let's put this movie together.
And in the grand scheme of things, understand that it's okay. It's in the movie. It's there. It's okay. It's fine. It's actually not hurting anybody for that scene to exist. So
no. But yeah, and then the other thing that I've seen is and this is a term I've had to actually look up and really learn exactly what it means, because this is another new one. Gatekeeping. People saying, if you like Moses Ingram in Obi-Wan, then you're not a true Star Wars fan. Like, they're the ones that get to say and decide what does and doesn't make you an actual Star Wars fan. That's weird. Now that's kind of like the opposite of the, like, I guess a sort of gatekeeping I was saying, is if you're racist, then you don't deserve to be in Star Wars. But that one's okay. We all understand and agree with that one.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like there is a lot of gatekeeping that's happening in Star Wars, which is like, if you like the prequels, you know, there's a whole lot around the original trilogy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You like the original trilogy the way it was originally presented, or you're not a real fan of Star Wars. Now you have either you like the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy and hate the sequel trilogy, or you're not a real fan of Star Wars. If you actually buy into, and this is a big one too, if you buy into Rey being able to call herself Rey Skywalker as a storyline, you are not a real fan of Star Wars, because that doesn't make any sense. She's not a Skywalker. We don't buy that she's a Skywalker. That's not canon that she's a Skywalker. It literally is canon. It was in the movie, you dumbasses. She adopted a name. A fictional character can do that. It's possible.
So
This is the
basically,
kind
you
of
were
stuff
just
that we
saying
see.
you didn't emotionally connect with the story like everyone else did. Is basically what you're saying. Because I feel like it's a little weird, but I understand it. I get it. I believe it. I think it makes sense that she would call herself Rey Skywalker. The emotional journey that we went on through the course of 3 movies with her character, I get it. That's why they did that.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be a Palpatine. She wants to carry on the good name of the Skywalker family. Get it. But for some reason, people like to gatekeep that one. They continue to call Rey a Mary Sue. And that's the other thing, is that Daisy Ridley had to jump off of social media because she was getting so much hate. Because people couldn't stand there being, 1, a woman at the center of a main Star Wars story, and 2, just the things that they were doing with her character, her being like, what? She's got power all of a sudden? What is that? That doesn't make any sense. How dare they? It's woke. It's woke. It's woke. It's the same thing. It's all the same thing. You can quantify it as different things. You can quantify some of it as misogyny, quantify some of it as racism, both. There's just, I truly feel like if you operate in a mindset like this in any capacity, it is okay to call this person not a true fan, because that is not behaving as a fan behaves of a property. If you are a fan of it, you are a fan of it. You are not, I'm a fan of it, but I don't like that they put a black person in here. No,
Then you're not a fan.
then you're not a fan. You're not a fan of it then. You're just a racist.
Surprise.
Surprise, you're a racist.
The other one is this one I guess I need more clarification on exactly what this is referring to, but bullying movies. For example, I've heard this used a lot in reference to Morbius lately, that Morbius is getting bullied. I don't know exactly how you bully a movie, but I do know, like me personally, I have plenty of times on social media and on here have told people not to go watch Morbius because it's a terrible movie. Not for any other reasons other than just the fact it's a bad movie. And I've said, like, I hate saying that, because there are still people who worked on that movie who worked hard for that movie. Like the actors, the crew, people made that movie with the expectation that they were doing the best job that they could. They thought they were making the best movie that they could. And it just turns out the movie was bad. Nothing against the people who worked on it. I don't have anything against them. I hope they got a good paycheck and enjoyed their work and they were proud of what they did.
I don't see you as bullying the movie there. I see that as you trying to help other people save their time and energy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've time, energy. Yeah, I've even told people don't even bother like pirating this one. Don't download it for free or anything. Just, which is funny because if you've seen, there's been a couple, like, I guess, Twitch accounts that have been playing Morbius like over like 12-hour back to back, and just people just trolling the heck out of the movie in the chat. That's kind of funny.
That's crazy.
But yeah, like even now, like I see people are jumping on this bandwagon of make Morbius 2 happen, only for the idea of have Sony think that Morbius is getting enough word of mouth on social media, on the internet. Let's make another Morbius movie. And then once it gets released and everything, nobody's going to go see it. And so they lose all the money off of it, which is kind of funny, but I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, it's also very mean-spirited too, which,
yeah.
You know, here's the thing. I'm down with being mean-spirited to execs who don't know how to, you know, I say this trepidatiously, who don't know what the audience actually wants, and they're just pumping stuff out. I'm afraid they are going to make Morbius 2 just strictly because the social media algorithm sees that Morbius is being talked about a lot, even if they're not actually paying attention to what's being said about the movie.
It's Morbid time.
It's Morbid time. The thing is, though, is that you bring it up more. So if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, the audience scores, not the critic scores, because critic scores I don't think are ever. I don't think the critic scores are ever trolls. I think there's very few trolls that actually make it to legitimate critic status, to the point where their opinion is being seen on Rotten Tomatoes. So I don't look at the critic score here. I look at the audience score, because the audience score is the one that can fluctuate from actual trolls. You look at Morbius is at like a 71, something like that, 71% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Whereas Captain Marvel, and this is the one that they bring up, Captain Marvel is sitting at like a 17% or something really low audience score. Something like unfathomably low, because the movie's actually a lot better than that.
People are trolling Morbius.
And they bring that up and they're like, well, look, see, look at this. And I'm like, yeah, that's called people who are trolling. They are propping up Morbius for a meme, for the joke, and they are propping down, that's not a phrase, Captain Marvel, because woman contains woman.
So stupid.
And that's literally the reason why you see those audience scores like that, because people can't help themselves. They want to just troll and trash something that they have a bias against for whatever reason. Those people are not fans of the MCU. Not the Morbius trolls. Those people are funny, but the ones who are trashing Captain Marvel's Rotten Tomato score. And you're gonna get, I'm gonna say that, and you're gonna get people in the comments. If anybody watches this back later, and wants to comment it, you're gonna get someone in the comments. Maybe people just voted down Captain Marvel because it's not a good movie. No,
I've rewatched Captain Marvel quite a few times now. I'm not rewatching Morbius.
Captain Marvel's a great movie. I actually really enjoy it.
I'm actively looking at getting her Hot Toys figure. I like what they did with it.
I'm actively looking forward to the sequel and the Miss Marvel TV show
next week.
It's not that it's bad. Granted, I understand that art is subjective, but as a whole, I will be on the record saying the MCU hasn't made a bad movie. They haven't. They've made some movies where there's some stuff that's like, Iron Man 2, Thor: The Dark World.
Eternals.
Some people didn't like Eternals, and that's all. Whatever. They're all still good movies.
I've rewatched Eternals also.
Still a good movie.
Yeah, it's watchable, but
I will argue the only thing bad that the MCU has done is Inhumans.
Well, with the exception that it still gave us Anson Mount back in.
Sure.
Mom.
But to say that Captain Marvel is a bad movie is showing bias.
Mm-hmm.
You're showing bias. And I get, again, that anybody can dislike or like whatever movie. I didn't like Solo in Star Wars. Anybody can like or dislike whatever movie for any reason. And a lot of people do have genuine, real, actual, justifiable reasons to dislike things. Again, I didn't like Solo just because I didn't like the writing of the movie. But when there seems to be a pattern for movie featuring woman, dislike movie, TV show featuring woman, dislike TV show, Jedi person, black and woman, don't like her character. What do you think we're gonna flock to as the reason? What do you actually think the reason is for this? What do you think the reason is for your bias? It's not because the character is written badly. Captain Marvel is not a bad written character, and Reva is not a bad written character in Obi-Wan. The acting choices she made are not bad acting choices. You just have a personal bias against her, probably because black woman. And that does not make you a true fan.
This might come as a shock to some people, but black women exist.
What?
They're allowed to exist. They're allowed to have jobs. They're allowed to be either actors, or they're allowed to be whatever bounty hunters or whatever she is, and inquisitors. If that was a real job, they're allowed to be that too. Apparently, according to the Star Wars universe.
Well, I mean,
I get it, like
villain, but
yeah. Like I remember, like when I forgot when it was. I don't know an official date, but I don't remember how long it was until women were actually allowed to join the United States military. For a while there, I believe it was completely unheard of that they weren't allowed to join. I want to say it was probably like in the 70s, like during a lot of like the civil rights movements.
I think it's what also made Captain America slightly unrealistic, because I have no idea how Peggy Carter got in there.
Yeah. So,
although,
well, no, she wasn't a part of America. Yeah.
Yeah. Women I think women could serve in some capacity, but not like actual like soldiers, not on like frontline type stuff.
I was in the military straight out of high school. Showing my age, at that time, we still had Don't Ask, Don't Tell was in effect. That is something that has only recently disappeared.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how recently that was. I feel like it was very recently, but I'm almost certain it was probably, I want to say that was during like Obama's administration.
Mm-hmm.
Was it while Obama was president? Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but by the way, real quick, this might come as a surprise. I don't know politics that well. I tried commenting something slightly political on Twitter, and
don't ever do that again.
I'm not doing that again. Like my issue is I don't articulate things in exactly how they are in my mind, in my head. So
hey, movie boy, stay in your lane.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in my lane from here on out. What I do have a lot of knowledge of course, is movies. I am very, and my brother will attest to this, I am very logical in how I think, talk, act. Well, I'm not very emotional based. Okay. Maybe if it's something I'm really stop it. Maybe if it's something I'm really passionate about, you might see emotions through that. Kind of like my take on racist people. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, like that. There's definitely emotions in that. But yeah, generally I have like a good sense of what I feel is like what you should do, what you shouldn't be doing, how you should act, how you shouldn't act. That's where I feel like a lot of what I say comes from. So that knowledge of movies, random ass pop culture trivia. Robert, are you Spock? Not to that extent. I do have some emotions.
Highly illogical.
It's highly illogical that I would be a Vulcan. But
I'm a nerd.
Yeah, I mean that is where I feel like a lot of like my passion comes from and my way of thinking. So yeah, apologize to anyone who saw anything that seemed slightly political and may have like shifted their opinions about me. That's not what I was trying to do. Just I won't do it again. I'm sorry.
I apologize for trying to speak on current events.
Yeah, well, whatever. That being said, I'm also not deleting the Twitter because I don't care. if I misworded something cool, I know I sent out another tweet going, "Hey, wait a minute, no, guys, this is not what I actually meant. Sorry, this is."
Just know if you stand for something good, I'm with you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I will stand with what's right. What's right, what's good. Just I'm for everyone have the rights to do what you want to do with your body or however you want to do it. Just have fun. I feel like that covers most of it.
As long as it doesn't negatively affect someone else's body.
Exactly. Yes, I know. Your body's being affected by the fact that I'm doing a show and not feeding you. I understand that. We will fix that here in a minute.
Anyway, anybody else have any thoughts in the chat? As we wrap up, feel free to drop any nuggets of truth, knowledge bombs in the chat that you are feeling as well. Yeah.
Hopefully everyone enjoyed this episode tonight. I know it was at least the ending of this was very heavy. But I feel like it's something I wanted to address. It was stuff like that like I'm wanting to do on my channel, is talk about stuff in a very non-political way, just like here's how people should be thinking and acting. I'm not I'm not eager to jump on that right away yet. Because again, like I said before, my number one issue seems to be I don't word things right sometimes, and I'm very cautious of that. I don't want to accidentally word things in a way that it shouldn't be worded. And I don't want to be like taken out of context or have someone derive something that I didn't say, or definitely not what I meant by how I said it. So I'm holding off on that kind of channel for right now, but eventually.
Life's hard for everyone. Let's all try not to be a-holes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Bingo.
So, yeah. Otherwise, let's wrap this up. A couple of things I want to plug real quick. Of course, there's the marquee of this month is going to be on June 18th after Lightyear comes out. We will be doing a Pixar marquee ranking all, I guess at that point will be 26 Pixar movies. We will be ranking those. That is on June 18th at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. Expect that to be a long one, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of passionate discussion. I already have who our two guests are going to be. We will make that announcement later, but it's going to be a fun discussion. I like who our guests are, and
it'll be over 3 hours. So make sure you have it in your calendar and you don't plan anything else.
Yeah, and much like what we did with Tom Cruise, I will probably post the results of it on the Twitter the next day and just let everyone go to town bashing us and our picks and everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Chris has seen Cars 2. Yes.
Yep. I've seen Cars 2 and 3.
Yeah. So that's coming down the line. This Friday, we will be over on a Fans View channel run by Vernon. We are doing a Fans View of Stranger Things. Every week, we will be breaking down one episode of Stranger Things 4. Screw you, Netflix, for releasing it all at once. We're still going to watch it week by week. So, whatever plan you had, we're doing different. So this Friday at 7:05 Pacific, 10:05 Eastern, we will be talking about episode 2 of Stranger Things 4. That's going to get confusing. We did the first episode of season 4 last week. It is available on a Fans View channel. Go check that out. Speaking of a Fans View, I will shortly be hopping over there here in about 20-30 minutes or so. We will be doing a Fans View of Last Action Hero. I have not seen this movie since like the mid to late 90s. I barely remember anything about this movie. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be essentially, it could just be thought of as a first time watch for me. So we're going to be watching that tonight. Come join us. It is over there live. I don't know where the movie's streaming at, but feel free to stream it with us. Come hang out. And then, of course, as you've seen over this past week, we have been proudly trying to advertise people to watch our newest video, Deconstructed Trailer number 2 of Thor Love and Thunder. If you have not seen this, if you have no idea what this is, I took the first 2 Thor Love and Thunder trailers and I re-edited them into the order in which I believe the movie is actually going to go. So hopefully that will be the plot of the movie going forward. So go check it out. I tried adding some humor to it to make it a little bit interesting. Watch that. See what you think. Leave your comments on it. Let me know what you think of it so I know what to do to change it up possibly in the future. If you have any suggestions, I'm open to it. Leave it in the comments for that video. And then after Thor Love and Thunder comes out, go back and watch it again. We'll see how correct was I in any of those theories. I'm expecting there might be one more Thor trailer that comes out before the movie gets released, in which I'm then going to take any new shots from that trailer and incorporate it into that deconstructed trailer, make it deconstructed trailer number 3, and we'll see if I get any closer on that theory also. It's less than 5 minutes. It's very short. Go watch it, please. Let me know what you think.
Just to not confuse you, it's Deconstructed Trailer number 2, but it's about Thor trailer number 3.
Well, that one will be Deconstructed Trailer number 3. This one's
it'll be the second Deconstructed trailer he's ever done, but it'll be incorporating the third Thor trailer.
Sure. This will make more sense if these are successful and they take off and people are liking them. Then they will start making sense as they come out after the trailer comes out. So just hold tight. If you are confused by the numbering, you'll figure it out pretty soon. So I have a good grasp on what I'm doing with it. Just trust me, Chris.
Oh, I do. You're just not articulating it correctly, and I'm trying to help you.
Okay. Apparently that's a fault of mine. So anyways, please go over there, watch that. If you're going to join us for a fan's view of Last Action Hero, feel free to go watch Deconstruct the trailer real quick and then come join us. There's enough time in between these shows. Anything else that we want to plug? I think that's all we've got coming up. Patrons, stay tuned to Patreon stuff. We'll make announcements of like the Patreon movie watch along this month and trivia hangout this month as well. So be prepared for that. Otherwise, you can follow us, the Cinefanatics, right here on youtube.com/Cinefanatics. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us at Cinefanatics MLP on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me, Robert Adams MLP, on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Chris.
You can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, as well as over at twitch.tv/Chris Adams MLP. We recently just started playing Metroid Prime again. Nice little throwback. We are going to play that again on Monday, but we're doing all sorts of stuff. This Saturday, we're actually jumping in. There's a big Fortnite event. So if you are into Fortnite, you want to come hang out with us, there's a big Fortnite event happening this Saturday. So we're going to be streaming that.
Why don't we have a Metroid movie? Have you been able to answer that while playing Metroid?
I wasn't answering that while playing Metroid, but I will say this. It's because Nintendo.
Dude, that movie is ripe. Or that video game is ripe for a movie.
If the Super Mario Brothers movie, the animated movie that Illumination is working on, if that turns out to be any kind of good, that will bode well for any Nintendo property to get a movie in the future. The fact that we even got Detective Pikachu, I'm actually kind of surprised about.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for bearing with us on those roller coaster of emotions there at the end. Hope y'all enjoyed everything that we said, talked about. Please, we hope to see you next week again, as we will be doing the tagline next week. But until then, y'all all have a great evening. Good night.
Bye-bye.